Okay, so I figured since this is a room full of women, I can probably just kick this off and just get really real with you guys. All right, so I realized I was leaving the boonies of Montana and I was coming back into civilization and attending OR and speaking at this event. And I thought, I should clean this act up a little bit, and I should go get a haircut. And I was like, what's cool? Bangs. Yeah. So, Jen's got them. They look good on her. So I went into the hairdresser and I was like, I want to look like this. It's like, I was like, please. But I don't shower all that often, and most days it turns out bangs are a lot of work, and most days I look like this. Yeah. Jill the Toolman Taylor. So I've committed to hats for a few months or years. Yeah. So there's that. But it kind of instigated what I actually want to talk to you guys here about, which is a little topic I like to call elephant in the room. So this is actually kind of, a conversation about the elephant in the room, which is essentially an obvious problem or risk, something that nobody wants to discuss, or a condition of groupthink that nobody wants to be a part of, because it's just too challenging and it's just too uncomfortable. And so that's the elephant in the room, right? Everybody just ignores it. So we all have different type of elephants that we deal with every single day, right? So that's like, if you're in the room with somebody and you have to fire them, that's a horrible elephant. It is the worst. Or if you're the only woman at a table full of men, or if you're in the backcountry and all your buddies want to cut across a slope and you just don't feel comfortable with that and having the courage to actually stand up and say something about that. Things like that. Or if you live in Montana and you've been contracted to do a photo shoot on diversity and you have a really hard time finding people of color who ski in Montana. Shoot. So these are all elephants and we have to deal with them, and it takes courage and it takes leadership, and it's hard to actually do something about it. So I've tried to make these conversations more fun for myself, because as the owner of a creative agency, I'm like not in the design party anymore. I'm like the CEO. For all you creatives out there, that's like a really dark day when you realize that, because then you don't get to make stuff all day anymore. So I have to have all these conversations that are just heavy all the time, and I've kind of framed it with this thing called "Free the Elephant." Yeah. It's cute. It's so cute. I like that one, and this is just like a way that makes it a little more fun. Like, I give myself like pep talks. I'm like, just go free the elephant. You can do it, and just get it done. So I'm gonna give you guys 3 tactics that I use to free the elephant. And the first one is humor. That's my dog. Really, I'm on a photo shoot and my dog kept getting in the shot. Shoot. So humor. So these work for humor works for awkward elephants, right? So like if you're in a meeting and your client gets up and they go to the bathroom and they come back and their shirt's tucked into their underwear, which has actually happened to me, and I was like, oh, really? So that's that kind of thing. Or in your adventuring, like most recently for me, I was up in Revelstoke riding snowmobiles with my boyfriend, and we stopped at this warming hut. And we're like walking in the door, and then he's like, oh, I gotta go do something to my sled. He just disappears. And then, so I'm like, whatever. I walk in this warming hut, and I see like 70 dudes and like a wood stove. and I'm like holding my full face helmet, and they're looking at me, and I'm looking at them, and like it's like they've never seen a woman before, and I'm looking at them, and it's quiet, and I'm just like, oh, does anybody have a hair tie? Because then I like called it out, and they all laughed, I laughed, and then I could go sit down and whatever. Because that's humor, right? That's like for the fun elephants in the room, not the heavy ones. And for the heavy ones, my tactic number 2, how to free the elephant, own it, right? You just have, and this is actually really hard. I joke around a lot, but this tactic is very difficult. And this is just when you confront something head on, and nobody owns anything more than Amanda Guy, by the way. She's a graphic designer at my company. She's amazing. But you just got to own it, right? And so this is very, very tough to face things head on. And okay, so now I have to make jokes again because it's me. So I'm gonna show you how I've owned it, but in a funny context. And okay, so who here is creative? Like who's a professional creative? A lot of them. We got our designers and photographers and writers, all my people. So as a creative director and a CEO here, I have to have really awkward conversations sometimes with the clients. And like a few years ago, we were working with just a local pizza shop up in Whitefish, Montana, and the owner really wanted a silhouette of a pizza cutter as the logo. And so we were like, yeah, we'll try it. But then there came the time where I'm like talking to my crew, and we're like, oh, what are we gonna do? And I was like, I'll handle it. I'll handle this elephant. And so I had to call the business owner and be like, your logo looks like a very accurate pizza cutter, but also just looks like the silhouette of a penis. It's very accurately drawn. And she was very angry. She was like, oh, your mind is in the gutter. And I was like, take it home and just look at it again. Your business is next to a junior high school. I can't let you do this. I cannot. So we changed it to a pizza slice. And look at that. It's good. I have one more design one, because it happens in content writing. So we work with a really great organization that works with children with type 1 diabetes and gets them out in the world, like doing sports, and they're awesome. But they were writing these captions with like sexual undertones on accident, whereas like nothing beats a finisher face. With this girl like laying on her back, and I was like, oh no. So I had to pick up the phone and deal with that. So now, and I called my friends who own that. I was like, I'm gonna publicly shame you. But yeah, so now they're posting cooler content. They're amazing. So that's a big improvement contextually. But for real, it's slightly more serious too when you have the elephant in the room conversation. And this is like the best nugget of information I can give you about anything in business. And that is, sometimes, just wrap your head around this, sometimes you are the elephant in the room. And so for me, I started my business when I was 22 years old, 9 years ago. And yeah, didn't know what I was doing. But anyway, so I started my business 9 years ago, and I would go into meetings, and like obviously the elephant in the room was that I looked like a kid with a computer, because I was a kid with a computer, right? But now in my 30s, I'm not a kid with a computer anymore, but I have to wear the hat because of the bangs, and so I'll go in and I'll address this situation like before they can think it, right? So if I'm at a table, instead of people like sitting there being like, is that a kid with a computer? And like not really like listening to what I have to say, I'll just like in the first 2 minutes of the conversation be like, oh yeah, and you might think I'm a kid with a computer, but we have, 2 offices and all that, a bunch of awesome employees, and I'll like put it on the table first and take away its power. It's called flipping the elephant and then you free it. And so that's the best tactic. And then they're thinking that we're doing that, and I'm not like at my house. Like it's just like a bunch of chicks making money. But that's like seriously the best thing I can tell you is like put it on the table first, take away its power, and then you got that. They're not going to sit there and think about that, waste all the brain power, and then you can actually have more meaningful conversations because their brain power isn't wasted on this like very awkward elephant. So that one was real talk. And then the third way that you can free the elephant is to take action. And most recently, like we've noticed this horrible representation of female photographers in action sports. Actually, I'll tell you guys a story. I used to go around at OR. I started doing it where I noticed dudes with cameras like Josh at my own company. Buddy. But I would go around at OR and I would notice how in any industry event for that matter, and I would like notice how many men had cameras and how women didn't have cameras, and I was like, that's very strange because now we're actually like putting the lens of the outdoor industry through male eyes instead of a woman behind the camera. And I got real weird, and I felt that it would be kind of too, like, I started taking pictures with my cell phone. I was like, oh, dude with a camera, dude with a camera, dude with a camera. And I had, like, this montage, and I was like, that's just too far. Don't show that. But it's actually a very strange situation. So we started, at my company, we started a little sub-company called Wheelhouse Workshops, where we're going to bring in the best female photographers in action sports, the best female athletes that we can find, and then open it up to female participants, and we're going to do a day on snow, taking like how to shoot skiing in low light or whatever, and then a day of post-production, and then a panel about the business side of creativity. So and we're doing these workshops all over the place. Our first one is going to be in Snowbird in March. So yeah, it's going to be good. Oh yeah. Oh, all right. And yeah. Oh, I was like, what just happened? Yeah, Wheelhouse Workshops with an S. I was like, I don't know. Did I spell it wrong? Is that what you said? Oh, because of the hat and the bangs. So those are the 3 ways to those are our 3 tactics for kind of freeing the elephant, because when you do that, you actually like have space for growth. That's good, right? We can have all these nice conversations and grow as humans and creatives and business owners and project managers and social media people. And space for new ideas, and best of all, space for new haircuts. So next year I might be up here and I'll have transitioned into the mark. Because you can see how easy that would be to go from the Jill to the mark. But anyway, so that's what I've got for you. Use your humor, take it head on, or take action and free those elephants.